Hi, I'm Theo Johnson. I'm a UX researcher and I have my master's in human computer interaction.
I'm Michael Cooper, and I'm a game developer.
Hi, I'm Priscilla McCann, and I'm an advertising art director who focuses on interaction and playability.
My name's Ian Cummins. I'm a student studying cognitive science and human-computer interaction at SUNY Oswego, and we're the designers of Pirates and Lasers. Pirates and Lasers is an interactive puzzle and strategy game about damage mitigation, resource management, and thinking ahead.
Where there are different types of pieces, each has a unique function and play off each other in interesting ways.
You're getting shot by different lasers and it's a step-by-step game system, so you have to think ahead and it's exciting. It really puts your brain to the work, but when I think of Pirates and Lasers, I think of fun and exciting and thrilling.
My favorite thing about Pirates and Lasers is how flexible it is. It can be played with any number of blink sets, people, and even rule bends.
So I was actually exploring opportunities to, work firsthand in gaming user research, and a friend of mine on LinkedIn mentioned the Global Game Jam in New York City, and I was like, wow, that sounds really exciting. So I reached out to one of my colleagues, Ian Cummins, who's also on the team, and I said, hey, do you want to go and participate and maybe create our own game? And lo and behold, we actually ended up working with the Move 38 team, and it was a great opportunity. I got to do user research, game testing, instructional design, and I really found out what it was like to really sprint, for a game design session, and it was a great opportunity.
I've never done a game jam before, and I've never really actually made a game before. I really wanted to try doing something new, and I came in with only one person that I knew. Really glad that I found the teammates that I did, and that I found the project and create the game that we all made together.
Going to do game jams, I always want to try something new at a game jam, so I went in with no plan whatsoever. Normally I had this fear that working on hardware would be difficult, but the API was very easy. I quickly got up and running. If you're a developer, or you want to be a developer, you should definitely consider getting the development kit for Blinx.
The Global Game Jam has always been one of my favorite events of the year. And this specific game jam was very unique. We were able to do a ton of user testing, and it was just really great working with that kind of team where all of us had that background in cognitive psychology and different areas of cognitive psychology, and we were able to bring it together to design a game.
Well, I was really inspired by German board games like Settlers of Catan. And after I played another Blinx game, the core set Fracture, where you manipulate the pieces around, I just knew I had to create something that could only be realized on this platform.
You really have to understand tabletop games to develop something like this. So it was great to have a nice team. Me and Ian walked around the Microsoft building, and we actually did user testing, and we asked people's opinions on the game, and we actually, used paper prototypes on the Blinx themselves before they were actually programmed. So I tried to think of everything as a UX process. I'm big into usability. So working through this project, it was really cool to understand, creating a low fidelity prototype, then going into that medium fidel, and then actually, releasing the product, for people to test at the end of the game jam. It was an incredible experience.
When I work professionally in my design and advertising work, with the exception of very few rare circumstances, we don't get to see people actually experiencing our work and how they react to it.
I'm big into heuristic evaluations and understanding game concepts. So, at the Global Game Jam itself, I ran a heuristic evaluation. I actually created a document that just understood, an expert eval of the parts that worked, the parts that didn't work, what we need to focus on and move to next.
Designing for Blinx was actually pretty easy, and they were really fun to mess around with and see what they could do that no other pieces could. You could really picture how anything could work on the platform. Particularly exciting was when we realized that we could create a system where all of the Blinx sent messages to one another in order to interact with the whole board, even if it was only touching one other piece. creating a decentralized system like that. It's really crazy.
This might just be because I programmed it, but watching the lasers work and being able to go through multiple blinks, being able to rebound and redirect, watching that is probably the funnest part for me.
A large part of Pirates and Lasers comes from the idea that from a certain starting point, there are a finite number of moves and opportunities. And while you play the game, whether it be competitive multiplayer or you're just playing by yourself, you get a sense that there are right or wrong or better or worse moves to make.
It was interesting. When we brought it out, some of the people that actually tested it before in the paper one, they were like, "Oh wow, this is awesome! This is a real life game you got going here." I'm like, "I know, it's exciting."
The longer they went in, the more they would zone into it. But you could see the concentration in their eyes and how they would zone in and keep trying to beat their score. Because the first few times when you beat your score, it's easier. It's easier to jump to from 5 to 6, but harder if you get to 18.
I think one of the more unique factors in this game is, the game map design and a lot of the art we did. I felt like that really brought out the true characteristics of the game.
I usually do more story-focused or visual-focused games, which this isn't really something I could exercise that with. And when I made the map piece, I wanted to kind of just give a visual interpretation of that storyline of the game, so that way when people are playing it, they could kind of help imagine and visualize their own story that they're going through as they're playing the game.
Pirates and Lasers will be released in the upcoming Blinks community expansion.
Have fun shooting those lasers.